Graham Stephan is about to become a billionaire in the next 20 years or less. He has a net worth of over $60 million and he is earning upwards of $7 to $8 million a year now. With his current speed and about 10% increase in his assets value every year, he will be a billionaire in less than 30 years. More like 15 years. It blew my mind. So I went down the rabbit hole of what makes Graham Stephan so successful. And I found something that not only Graham Stephan, but 80% of the millionaires are using to get wildly successful over time. But what makes Graham Stephan so interesting is that he has done it not once, not twice, but at least 3 times. And you'll be surprised to know that Graham Stephan did not do it consciously. He had no idea he was tapping into the most powerful way of getting successful and rich. In this video, I am going to reveal the skill that Graham Stephan has mastered to succeed, and how you can learn it to replicate the success of Graham Stephan yourself and get financial freedom as fast as possible. It is much more simpler and easy than you think it is. But before that, have you ever wondered why people who start early go out to become smashing success in their lives? Mark Cuban, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, Richard Branson, Elon Musk are good examples. When you are young, you have less knowledge, less data points to reference to. You are not experienced. So the logic says you should not succeed. What gives? Well, young age has its benefits. You are not jaded by your past experience. You are not scarred by all the negative scenarios that society loads you with. You don't have many preconceived notions simply because you are ignorant. The biggest of all is that young people are generally more aware that they lack knowledge and experience. If you acknowledge just that, your outlook towards learning changes drastically. Young people are very good at learning because they don't have any resistance towards it. A person in their 30s already has their metaphorical brain cups full. And any new information that goes in there has to get validated by what is already present. What happens is that we start using our brains way too much than required and start cherry-picking the information that we are served. What adheres to our worldview, we accept, rest we discard. That's why when you tell a young person to do something in a certain way, they will do it exactly like told without much ifs and buts. That is why a young person with positive outlook is a deadly combination. This is the first thing that worked in Graham's favor. When he started as a real estate agent, most of the people, including other real estate agents, told him he was making a mistake and he should go back to college. Graham knew that real estate business works. He had tons of examples in front of him. And if you have watched Graham Stephan, he comes out as a positive fellow. He rationalized these people, to put it bluntly, as failures. He told himself if they can't do it, doesn't mean he can't do it either. People with less success often project their insecurities onto others. And that can be very discouraging. But having a positive outlook or having a lot of successful role models can help you look past that. But for that kind of thinking to take roots, there is another component that is needed. This is something that carries you through thick and thin, through bad and good. In Graham Stephan's own words, he devoured any and all books on real estate he can find. He studied like no other, thus got results like no other. This is true with most of the successful people out there, and doubly so for people who have become wildly successful. He repeated the same thing with his YouTube channel. He studied, learned, and spoke to other successful people to crack the code in all 3 areas that I managed to identify. That is real estate, his YouTube business, and his own personal finances. So what is the missing piece that lets people like Graham to go eyeballs deep into a field, you ask? After all, you can't sustain that kind of dedication on iced coffee and thin air. The only thing that can help you do that is passion for a field. Now I have started over 4.5 businesses and only one succeeded. The single biggest reason for my failures was that I didn't have a passion for it, or lost that fire somewhere in the middle. I failed because I was looking at data and vanity matrices to find the business idea. I was going after what was trendy, or where the data was telling me the gap in the market was. But all I needed was to look at the thing that my heart was telling me to do. There may be things that you can learn or talk about day in, day out. That is your passion. No matter how bad you are at it initially, but that passion will carry you forward to learn the best practices, right knowledge, and pull you through difficult times. Money, on the other hand, is not a great motivator. Now you may have seen many young people with passion who are not replicating the success of Graham Stephan. Why so? In fact, many people get into their field thinking that if this guy can do it, I can do it too. From surface, it looks very easy to do a few things to get smashing success easily. But this one thing is the key ingredient that makes or breaks it. Most of the people study what the successful people are doing or whatever advice there is out there and try to implement it. Most of what you learn is fragmented. You go for things randomly. A nugget from here, a word from there, a piece of advice from a family member, and so on and so forth. What you end up with is a chimera of knowledge that may have plenty of issues. When you try to run that half-assed model, you get is a half-assed result. What you need, instead, is predictable success. Every step you take, every endeavor you go into should result in a predictable outcome. That's when your success goes from gambling to certainty. Graham Stephan, like many other successful people out there, have a very specific system laid out for himself. That system may not be the best out there, may not be mathematically or logically the best piece of art, but it works most of the times. And that's the thing. His system lacks a lot of hacks that are peddled on the internet. Instead, it is a time-tested process. And it is not devised by him. It was devised by many successful people who came before him. His system is a common denominator that is present for ages. However, he modified it according to the current times. He has a clear rule for every real estate he buys. There is no ambiguity in it. He has a clear rule when he comes up with an idea for a video or creates a new video. His success is very predictable. And real life is filled with people who follow the same principle. It is unglamorous. It won't make you an overnight success, but it will definitely make you successful. And that's the key. The certainty. Graham studied what system other successful people are following in his field and followed it. Real estate is an established business. People have been successful in cracking real estate very accurately. They have rules, principles, and most of all, a complete system for every step of the way. All Graham's real estate properties have the same format, same financials, same deal structure, and same outcome. He did the same with his YouTube channel. He studied the system from idea generation to publishing a video used by his predecessors and uses it. All his videos are about the same packaging, format, and presentation. People get succumbed into following the exceptions instead of rules. How many times have you been enticed into quick rich scheme or following a guy who became wildly successful but he was alone in doing so? There are a lot of people out there who get lucky or their success is not repeatable. But there are people whose success is repeatable. So why do so many people follow the odd successes instead of proven systems? Generally, people who have a repeatable system for success are slow and steady, while odd successes are fast and glamorous. People want excitement more than surety, and that is their downfall. Every field has a slow but sure path and fast but risky path. Take making your money work for you, for example. There are two paths: investing and trading. 90% of traders lose money or are not able to beat the market. However, the 10% who do so are wildly successful. While regularly investing in a well-diversified portfolio of stocks may seem very slow, but 99% of the investors will be richer within few years. Look at top 1,000 or even 10,000 rich people in the world. You will find a lot of investors in there but no traders. In the end, remember that it is not the get-rich-quick shortcut that will make you rich, but a proven method that has a great track record. A method that has been used by many to get the success. You will see that ultimately that way is the fastest path. In short, system works, people fail. Now you may be thinking, but doesn't that comes with experience? Yes and no. We think that we have seen the world and we know how the things work. We know ourselves and will be able to press brakes before any collision. But people who know their limitations generally don't have that false bravado. Experience can be an asset as much as a liability. How many times have you bought a stock, or a property, or a fill in the blank because you knew that it is a great investment? Not with a checklist in hand, but just by a gut feeling and an advice from a friend. And then it tanked. Graham Stephan did not purchase his first property till 2012. He was in the business for 4 years with substantial savings by that point. So, why didn't he do it? During those 4 years, he learned all there was to know about real estate business and about the market he was working in. Even till 2020, he only bought 7 properties, and 2 of those were his home. He upgraded and they became his rental properties afterwards. But you would think that a person with such strong cash flow should have bought tens, if not 100s of properties by that time. Why so little then? Because, according to him, he has very strict criteria and process to enter into a deal. Each part of the deal is carefully selected and systematized after extensive studies and watching how successful people operate. Plus, he also had evaluated 100s of properties and deals by that time. You can get lucky once or twice, but a person with system will win most of the times. Otherwise, the likes of Warren Buffett and Mr. Wonderful Kevin O'Leary would have been surpassed by tons of people who stumble across opportunities. Kevin O'Leary has a very fixed formula for his investments that he has shared in many interviews. So has Graham Stephan. So you have established that to grow rich and get financial freedom, you will require a system. But how do you go about it? Here are 3 quick tips to get you started. 1. Retrace the steps. Elon Musk has a degree in physics and economics, but he started as an internet entrepreneur. However, he then went to tackle some humanity-level challenges on energy, space, AI, neurobiology, and construction. But the most intriguing thing is that he was the key architect in creating solutions for these problems. How did he do it? In his own words, he was studying 90+ hours a week before starting SpaceX and Tesla. He studied the success and failures. So, before taking any steps, any deals, making any kind of investment, spend at least a month to learn ins and outs about it. But where can you study the success? Well, that's simple. Read books. If, for example, you are after financial freedom, read books by Dave Ramsey, Ramit Sethi, Morgan Housel, Robert Kiyosaki, among others. Books are by far the best way to find the system to work with. Videos and audio. If you are more audio-visual learner, then YouTube will be your best friend. But the problem is that YouTube is a deep rabbit hole. Once you go in, you can get lost. For that, select few channels, say Graham Stephan, Minority Mindset, Andre Jig, etc., and go deep in them. You can also enroll to courses. Most of the popular names you see have a course or 2 to help others. Podcasts can be a good way too. But just like YouTube, the information is very fragmented. But you can find some great podcasts that go into the system that has succeeded for many. Erica Kullberg is doing a great job in podcasting space when it comes to finding a system for financial freedom. 2. Going without preconceived notions. Now this is a tricky one. For example, if you were trained to think in Dave Ramsey's system, you will find it hard to digest Robert Kiyosaki's principles. And vice versa. But it is doable. But to understand someone fully, come up with questions. How it works? Why it works? What are the chances of success? Have a lot of people used it? What are the common pitfalls that lead to failure? Then seek the answers. Even some stupid questions may give you answers that may shatter your worldview about something. 3. Improve. Let's say you devise a step-by-step process to get something done. But we are living in an ever-changing world. Methods and skills have to be updated to match the current reality. Otherwise, you will soon find yourself out of the market as soon as you get in. I am guilty of this the most. One of my first business was white label Amazon business. I found a great system and followed through. It worked wonderfully. Product after product were a success until market reality changed. In hindsight, I had all the clues. People were talking about it for months. But I was complacent. And I paid the price of completely driving my business to the ground. In fast-changing markets, it is much more important to reinvent yourself every 2 to 3 years at most. Otherwise, you will be thrown out of the market in no time. But there are a few things that are timeless. There is a guy who has made more millionaires than any other in the last 30 years. He has made achieving financial freedom from gambling to certainty. Millions of people have followed his system or tapped into his wisdom to achieve financial independence. What is it that makes his system work so wonderfully well for masses, though? What has he understood about the human psychology that many before him missed? And why do people claim that it is easiest and fastest way to become a millionaire for majority of the people out there? Understanding this will completely change your perception of becoming financially free. Click in this video on screen to learn about it. I'll meet you there.